In this video, I'll show you. This episode will compare and contrast two interactions which take place under very similar circumstances but render vastly different results in regards to police etiquette and attitude. Let's dive right in and audit the audits. In both videos, Auditor DJ Green is filming various vehicles parked in police department parking lots in small South Carolina towns at midday. In Video 1, Mr. Gear is in the town of Williamston, which rests in the forested hills of western South Carolina and has a population of approximately 4,200. The second video is shot about 70 miles northeast of Williamston, in the slightly more bustling town of Gaffney, nestled along South Carolina's northern border, and with the population of just under 13,000 residents. Gaffney is a bit bigger than Williamston, but still markets itself as a community-oriented, tight-knit city with a small-town atmosphere, although these two towns have a lot in common. The way that their respective law enforcement officers interact with Mr. Gear is vastly different. We will start with Video 1 in the town of Williamston, where Mr. Gear is contacted by Captain Marcy and Officer Moles. "How you doing today, sir?" "I'm all right. And yourself?" "Oh, doing well." Notice that Captain Marcy asked Mr. Gear how he was doing and approached Mr. Gear politely and with a positive attitude. Let's compare that to the first contact made by Deputy Dunn of the Cherokee County Sheriff's Office in Gaffney.
"What's up, brother?" "I'm all right. How you doing?" "I don't carry it with me. Don't carry it with me.
Why you don't carry your ID with you?
In case I'm illegally detained, y'all find out who I am.
Huh?
In case y'all illegally detain me and find out who I am.
"I just want to see your ID because you own our property." Although Deputy Dunn does ask Mr. Gear how he was doing as well, the deputy's immediate follow-up to that inquiry was asking Mr. Gear to identify himself. When an officer asks a citizen to identify themselves, it implies that the citizen is committing an illegal act and that the officer is legally obligated to identify them. Let's compare the deputy's follow-up question to Captain Marcy's. "What do you think about our police car?" "I think they're awesome." "Getting some good pictures. I'm trying. The sound really ain't helping, but it's going kinda messes. Some of your pictures up. Would you like us to get a picture of you with one of our cars?" "Oh, I'm fine, thank you." Captain Marcy offers to help Mr. Gear take more pictures and does not immediately jump to the conclusion that what Mr. Gear is doing is suspicious. The captain's first instinct when approaching Mr. Gear is to help him, not to assume that Mr. Gear is committing a crime or planning an attack. Unlike Deputy Dunn, Captain Marcy's initial objective is to serve a member of the public. "Look, I know, but you looking in windows or cars?" "Yeah, 'cause I can see them." "Yeah, I know you can see them, but you don't know if those are personal cars or not." "Those might be personal cars." "Well, but even if they are personal, I can still look in them. You can't be looking in the window like that." "I can't. It's public." "Yeah, there's no." "So, what's your ID at? I don't have it on me." "What's your ID at? I don't have it on me. I know I'm asking you where I was at, where I left it. I don't really get what you're asking me there for. There's no legal obligation if you're asking me where my ID is right now. And, I'm correct, I don't want to be about it, but there's no legal obligation for it. So, I just don't have it on me." The deputy then proceeds to tell Mr. Gear what he can and cannot do while on public property and continues to press Mr. Gear to surrender his identification. So far, this entire interaction has been based around the implication that Mr. Gear is doing something wrong. Deputy Dunn's initial objective is to determine what criminal activity Mr. Gear may be taking part in. "Well, we have a legal obligation." "You're really close to me, officer." "We can check your name, check your identity, make sure that you are who you say you are." "What's your name?" "I'm Sheriff Muller, sir." "And your name?" "To make sure that you're not wanted." "I'm not wanted." "Do you suspect me being wanted?" Sir, right now we don't know who you are. Sheriff Muller notes that the deputies do not know who Mr. Gear is. Yet they find it safe to assume that whoever Mr. Gear is, he could be wanted for a crime. The attitude of presuming that anyone on the street could be a criminal is prevalent among members of law enforcement and often creates a hostile environment for citizens and is generally responsible for the breakdown of communications between members of the community and their respective police departments. This attitude facilitates the U.S. versus them mentality that polarizes communities and creates a division between the officer's duty to both protect and serve. Where Sheriff Muller chooses to assert his authority, Captain Marcy chooses to be friendly, welcoming, and helpful. Is that vehicle still in use over here? Yeah, sure is. It is.
All these cars are in use?
Oh, it's still in use?
Yes, sir.
Alrighty.
Are you sure there's no pictures we can get for you for, souvenir?
Oh, no, I'm fine. I'm totally all right. I appreciate it, though.
Yes, sir. Well,
The purpose of the contact initiated by Captain Marcy is to determine if Mr. Gear needs help with anything. Let's compare that to Sheriff Mueller's reasoning for contact.
Then it's going to stay that way until you have a legal obligation to find out who I am.
We got a legal obligation.
No, you don't. You just want, that's a personal obligation. You just want to know
That's
who I
not a
am.
personal
I haven't
obligation,
committed a
sir.
crime, so I don't have to tell you who I am,
Sir, you're out here going and looking in vehicles.
which is a First Amendment protected activity. I can film in public. All this is public.
Yes, sir, you can.
Okay, so
You
then
can
if you
film
know
in
that,
public.
why are
You
we having
can.
this conversation, officer?
We have a lawful right to inquire. When people say there's a suspicious person walking through the parking lot filming, we have an obligation to at least come and check you out, sir. And that's simply what the officers are doing.
Tell my attorney stay tuned in, please. So,
You can film all day, sir. We're not
with that being
objecting
said,
to
officer-
your filming.
okay,
We're
so
not
with that
objecting
being
to
said,
your
with all
filming.
due respect, if you say I can film all day,
Yes, sir.
why is it everyone's standing out here asking me what I'm doing?
Because when someone comes in the office and says someone's going out there looking in the patrol cars, we don't know, sir, if someone's going to break into a patrol car.
I have no ill will
If
intent
someone's
out
going
here.
to steal a patrol car, it happens. And so we have a lawful obligation to
Come out and inquire and check and make sure that everything is okay. Sheriff Muller's intention is to determine whether or not a crime is being committed. The idea of helping Mr. Gear is nowhere on Sheriff Muller or any of the other deputies' radar. The sheriff's idea of making sure that everything is okay amounts to making sure that no one is committing a crime and not actually maintaining the well-being of the citizenry of his town. Organizational approach of Sheriff Muller with the genuine candor of Captain Marcy, and note the difference in the tone and flow of the two interactions. Feel free to walk around our town. It's a great town here in Williamston. There's great restaurants, great shopping. I've heard absolutely great police department. I've heard it's a nice area, but, I'm not from the area. Just came here to do a story on the area. I heard it's a good area. Now, they say the clock is. This way, I want to say that a good place to eat. Absolutely, it is. Yes, sir, they don't have a clock where I'm from. So I'm going to go try to area. Sure, and if you'd like us to take your picture with any of our statues, monuments, any of our buildings, cars, police. Are you chief of police here? No, I'm not. Captain. Yes, sir, you are, and your name? I'm Kevin Marcy. Nice to meet you. Good to meet you, sir. Nice to meet you as well. And your name, Lauren. Nice to meet you. Nice to meet you. Thank you all for your service. All right, if we can appreciate anything for you, let us know. I will. Thank you. Thank you. Notice that at no point during the interaction between Mr. Gear and Captain Marcy did the captain ask Mr. Gear to identify himself. Instead, Captain Marcy chose to welcome Mr. Gear into his town and offered to help Mr. Gear in any way that he could. The captain had no qualms with Mr. Gear recording or taking photos of police vehicles on public property, and even went as far as to offer to help him get better photos. Sheriff Muller, on the other, it's not normal.
normal for people to walk through and film in this parking lot, it's not normal to walk around and film around a nuclear station or around any high secure area. This is a facility here. We don't know if you're filming something to plan or prepare a jailbreak for somebody.
But until
So
you
we
have
have a
proof that
lawful
that's what I'm
obligation.
doing, you have no right to
No,
talk
that's
to me,
not. That's not
officer.
true, sir.
That is true.
That's not true.
If I haven't broken a crime, you have
We
no
have a
legal
right
to
to
come
check
ask me who I
and
am.
make sure that you are not plotting and planning something against this facility, which holds a court venue.
Okay.
And so we have this inside this building. There's courtrooms, sir,
Which are open to the public.
which are open to the public, but you're not allowed to take a camera into that area.
But I'm
And
outside,
You can't
officer.
film.
So why'd you bring up the inside if I'm outside?
I'm telling you,
You're
that's
just
why-
reaching now,
no,
officer.
I'm
I've done
not
nothing
reaching.
wrong,
I'm not
and you
reaching.
know that. I've
I'm
done
not
nothing wrong,
reaching.
and everyone out here knows I've done nothing wrong.
We're
You're
not-
reaching
we're-
for something.
We're not reaching for anything.
You are reaching, but it's not a crime.
You're suspicious.
But it's not a crime.
We
We
investigate
have
a lot
not
of
told
suspicious
you.
crimes.
Have you been told that you committed a crime?
Can I ask you a question? The only important question that I want to ask you: am I being detained?
You're not being
Absolutely.
detained. Have a great day.
Talk to you later, brother. Overall, Captain Marcy and the Williamston Police Department get an A+ for demonstrating outstanding professionalism, exceptional courtesy, and acting as unassuming and welcoming ambassadors of their town. The citizens of Williamston should be proud to have such competent representation, and police departments everywhere could take a page from the book of the Williamston PD. If all law enforcement officers engaged citizens with the amiable and good-natured approach employed by Captain Marcy, then the relationship between citizens and the police would be very different. Sheriff Muller and the Cherokee County Sheriff's Office get a C-. For approaching Mr. Gear with an accusational and critical assessment of Mr. Gear's activities and attempting to coerce Mr. Gear into identifying himself, even though he was doing nothing illegal. Although the sheriffs ultimately did not violate any of Mr. Gear's rights, their attitude and mannerisms were unprofessional, unwarranted, and absent of legal merit. Mr. Gear was lucky to get away without being forced to identify himself or possibly even being illegally arrested. The guilty until proven innocent mindset and the U.S. versus them mentality are a plague upon the law enforcement community, and the Cherokee County Sheriff's Office played into every negative stereotype associated with modern policing. Mr. Gear also gets an A+ for being well-informed and vigilant about his rights without being provocative, vulgar, or rude in any way. Mr. Gear took an unwavering stance against the unprofessional behavior of Sheriff Mueller, dominated the flow of the conversation, and demanded the respect of the officers involved. Conversely, Mr. Gear remained courteous and respectful to Captain Marcy and did not make a senseless attempt to provoke a negative reaction. Many auditors make a concerted effort to extract a negative reaction from every public official they encounter instead of simply exercising their rights and allowing that to be the centerpiece of their audit. Mr. Gear's approach is very respectable and does not associate a negative connotation to the exercising of constitutionally protected rights. Many auditors and the movement as a whole could benefit from this style of auditing. Let us know if there's an interaction or legal topic. Thank you very much for watching the video. Subscribe our channel for next video.